Trump's cabinet is going to be set for confirmation hearings very soon. Question is, who's going to make it through? Already some possibilities of people who might go through very quickly. We've got Marco Rubio and State Representative Elise Stefanik, who they're thinking might just skate right through. Senate Republicans are strategizing on how to land a top party priority, getting Trump's cabinet confirmed. John Thune of the Senate, the new Senate Majority Leader, this is the new Mitch McConnell, told us in an interview on Tuesday that Republicans have started to feel out who Democrats might confirm. Quick confirmation will require support from all 100 senators. Called Day One confirmations a top priority. The process is beginning, said Thune. Asked about efforts to check with Senate Democrats, he said, as you might expect, the noms for national security are awfully important. Who's on the list? Rubio. He's already amassed some Democrat support, expected to get a hearing next week on the 15th. Okay, so before Trump is even sworn in, we're starting this stuff. Next week, Rubio, Senate committee hearing next week. Barrasso said Rubio's absolutely on the docket. He could be ready for confirmation on the 20th. So we have the hearings, and then you're confirmed. Elise Stefanik, Trump's other nominee, is also viewed as a potential Day One confirmation. She's going to get a hearing on the 16th. Senate Republicans are under pressure from the base to quickly confirm everybody, especially after the attacks of Trump Hotel and NOLA. Other national security picks will take a little bit more time. Grassley told us the Judiciary Committee will be vetting the AG, Deputy AG, which is Todd Blanche, baby, and FBI Director Kash Patel, but towards the end of the week, that'd be the earliest, he later added. Still working on background checks and ethics stuff for Pam Bondi. Tulsi Gabbard is still meeting with people, including Vice Chair Mark Warner. She's expected to get a hearing before the 20th on Inauguration Day, according to some people. Tom Cotton intends to hold these hearings before Inauguration Day, right? He's running the Intelligence Committee. Getting confirmation hearings on the schedule as quickly as possible is a goal. And we're going to do over a dozen hearings next week. Man, next week's going to be lit. Lots of hearings. And so we'll keep our eye on that. We also are seeing that they're going to be limiting some access to the president this next term. NBC is reporting that the number of people with direct access to President Trump will be more limited when Trump takes office in 2 weeks, says Susie Wiles, or some people close to her. In an effort to tighten the lines of communication, the transition team is cutting back on the number of staff members who will be given access to Trump. They call him assistant to the president. There will be a limited number of assistants to the president, said a person familiar with the transition. Trump's newly named legislative affairs director and others are not given those names, those titles. They typically have those names or those titles. One source told NBC that the access should run through assistants, but each person's relationship with Trump will ultimately determine the level of integration of the peoples. That's what Trump's up to. Meanwhile, here's what MSNBC sounds like when they're talking about the American takeover.
Under the next 4 years, as parcel through what he says and how much of it to actually take seriously. But
all of it.
If we at face value, some of this stuff is very troubling and dangerous. Suggesting that he would use military force to reclaim the Panama Canal, which, as we have been talking about for a week or more, President Carter signed a treaty.
It's a strategic interest.
Or Greenland. Meanwhile, Greenland, part of Denmark, a NATO ally. Yeah. That would be an extraordinary step were he to actually take any sort of moves there. We have seen with Canada, he says he won't be an invasion, but he wants an economic pressure to push Canada to become our 51st state. He also mused that Wayne Gretzky should follow Justin Trudeau as the new prime minister.
Better than
just note, the great one has decided to take a pass on that. He's already put out a statement saying he's not interested. But there were more things that I think we have to look at more seriously as well. This idea of he acknowledged that Facebook and Meta's fact-checking changes. That's because of the pressure he has put on them. It's a signal to, I think, a lot in the sort of social media and tech industry that you need to get on board or we will perhaps lean on you heavily.
What do you think was happening this last cycle? What do you think the FBI was doing, pressuring Facebook and all of the other social media companies to censor people? That was the government actually censoring people. What Zuckerberg is doing is lifting the boot up off the neck of America and returning back to free speech. And the fact that Trump won, causing that to happen, is a good thing because there never should have been fact checkers who were censors, who were censoring people. So all of this is concerning to them because they're losing their grip on power. NATO will be stronger with America in control of Greenland. It's for a strong NATO, if you want to make that argument. We cannot have China and Russian ships up there putzing around and taking control of the Arctic. We're not doing anything about it. Canada can't handle it. Denmark's not handling it. The European Union can't do anything to defend themselves without America helping, even against Russia invading Ukraine. And they're now acknowledging that in that clip that we played. They're like, yeah, we maybe should have been spending 5% instead of the less than 2%. So all of this is a return to norm. And they're freaked out because they're losing power.
He talked, floated January 6th conspiracy theories.
They're not conspiracy theories.
But
who is the pipe bomber? Why doesn't the FBI know who the pipe bomber is? Why did they lie about having corrupted data from the data companies that don't have corrupted data? You're a conspiracy theorist saying that the FBI doesn't know who they are. You're either saying the FBI is incompetent or they're corrupt. Pick one.
But Joe, this is something where Donald Trump is again reminding us and the world that this is going to be, there's not going to be consistency here. There's not going to be a reliable ally. And that is something, and
there is plenty of consistency. The consistent policy is America first. Get on board with it or don't. We don't care.
Can dismiss some of this as, oh, he's just talking or he's blustering. He is talking about tariffs. He's talking about economic pressure, talking about withholding aid. And I think global capitals are also, just like us in the media, trying to sort out how to handle this. And some of them, very clear, deeply alarmed.
And there is blowback from that trolling, actually, for Trump allies. You look at Canada, for instance, talking about the 51st state or these other things. It certainly does not help the conservatives in Canada right now who want to take control. The same thing's happening in Britain, where Elon Musk continues to interfere.
I totally disagree. It does help the conservatives. Okay, people in Canada, I would imagine many of them are saying, we're not going to be part of America. This is ridiculous. Pierre Poilievre comes out. We're not going to be a part of Canada. Okay, he gets to stand up for his country. He gets to stand up for Canada. He gets to come out and try to make Canada great again. And Trump is serving that up on a platter for them. And Trump is doing that intentionally. Okay, Trump does this intentionally, by the way. And these people in the media are way too dense to figure it out. In fact, Megyn Kelly shared this on her show. She explained, remember that whole blood coming out of her wherever thing that everybody was really upset about? In the years that went by, there was this alleged bad blood between the two of them. And Megyn Kelly shared this anecdote where she explained that at one point, Trump made a quip about that, said something like, but everybody was watching, weren't they? Everybody was watching. So it was almost like a big show, a big game, and it gave Megyn Kelly a real opportunity to stand up and defend herself and define herself and draw a bunch of energy and attention to her. And it was a memorable moment that is etched in all of our brains. And Trump and Megyn Kelly got to share that together. Okay, so Trump does that intentionally. He sets other people up to be able to do something that will serve both of them. A strong Canada with a strong border and a strong military and a country that is not siphoning off billions of dollars out of the American. It's all good for America. So yeah, Pierre Poilievre, stand up for your country. Make Canada great again. Secure the border. Build your military. Build things, right? Become a good partner. Trump is very happy about that. Great job. So it's not going to hurt the conservatives unless the conservatives are like, yeah, we're just weak, pathetic Canadians. We can't do anything. And so, that was Justin Trudeau. They just threw his ass out. So this is not doing anything that the media analyst, the political analyst, Joe Scarborough says it is. Their takes are as rudimentary as their show.
British politics, all that is doing is helping a severely weakened labor government by, again, so there's always blowback to this. And Sam, so much of it is, if we are to judge over the last 4 years, signature trolling. And
it's not trolling. You still don't understand what's happening, do you?
David Sanger said when pressed on Greenland, when pressed on these other things, David Sanger with the New York Times wrote this morning that when asked those questions, he responded with, quote, signature vagueness. So guess what happens? We talk about it. Everybody talks about it. Everybody writes about it.
Right.
Everybody's asking, is he or isn't he? And the signature vagueness is there. The trolling is there. And he's in the middle of the conversation.
Exactly. And then it becomes incumbent to separate the signal from the noise, right? What actually
Close, Joe.
here? Renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, is that going to happen? No. Imagine all the maps we'd have to rewrite. Impossible.
It happens.
So we could.
It already happened. It's done. It's now the Gulf of America. I don't care what the maps say. Okay. You label people can label whatever you want. We're also playing the label game. It is now the Gulf of America. That's how it will be known henceforth here and everywhere else in America-loving lands.
But there are some things that I think materially do matter. Threatening, or at least not ruling out, military force to acquire the Panama Canal or Greenland, I think materially matters, if only because it sends a signal to Russia. Hey, go ahead. We do it. Territorial sovereignty doesn't really matter. You can do what you want in Ukraine. It sends a signal to China, Taiwan, right? And so
they're already doing that. It's okay. First of all, by the way, the entire premise of this little territory sovereignty thing that they've been shoving down our throats with Russia, Ukraine over this last however many years, 2 years, is a false premise. They don't care about territorial sovereignty or Western democracy or any of that crap. This is just a useful excuse for the current moment. Nation states, in reality, in the real world, they care about their security interests. Maybe that's the only thing they care about. Democracy and all that other crap is an afterthought. It's a cover story. It's the propaganda component to the whole thing. So the idea that we are now going to give Russia and China some excuse is that they were already acting, brother. And now we're doing the same. We're being intentional in securing American interests against Chinese interest in Panama, against Russian interest in the Arctic up north, surrounding Greenland and other areas. We're not taking it anymore.
That's the signal. That's the noise. In terms of the vagueness, and we've done this for, 8 years now, geez. Figuring out if this is just him kind of riffing or if this is some sort of negotiating play. And in some cases, you can see the case where he's trying to, for instance, try to extract more concessions from Canada when it comes to trade, or from Denmark and Greenland, or from Panama. But ultimately, there is a cost to this, which is it's chaos, it deteriorates and hurts our allies.
What is it? What's chaotic about it? They just changed their coat of arms.
And it invites other foreign countries, world powers, to basically meddle in other sovereign nations the way that we are meddling in Panama.
Yeah, I guess Russia's going to invade even harder now since Trump is talking about liberating Greenland and taking back the Panama Canal, which is ours. We never should have given it away or whatever that was. And then they're turning it over to China. So as you can see, they're getting closer. He's recognizing that, yeah, there is a negotiation that is happening here. And America does have a lot of power. If you want to be a part of our platform, if you want to be in our hemisphere, if you want to enjoy the safety and the security provided by our Navy and our military, you got to play ball with America. That's how it works. And we're starting to see that envelop the new administration, which is a welcomed addition because we do provide a lot of value to the world. And a lot of other countries enjoy the benefits, and then they turn around and they say Americans are racist people because they won't take in our illegal aliens. All right, enough of that. America first. They can't understand how that works. Trump does, and that's all that matters.